With a nod to the past and a wink to the future, Monocle takes a look at the world of perfume and the newest generation of expert alchemists. From the scientific approach in Buenos Aires to potion makers in New York and an industry veteran branching out on his own in London, we visit the artisanal perfumers, honouring past traditions as they pioneer new contemporary scents.
Shay And Blue is the new perfumery nestled in the emerging borders of London's Marylebone. Founder Dom de Vetta is an industry veteran, with 20 years' experience creating some of the world's best-known fragrances for Chanel or Jo Malone. In 2012, he set up his own artisanal perfume atelier, with the hope of bringing a contemporary sensibility to the traditional art of alchemy.
One of the things that becomes quite an achievement in fragrance is creating that intangible magic when 3 or 4 or 5 disparate elements come together. And in that sense, it's not dissimilar to music, where suddenly a chord, a movement, an expression with the brush and a palette of colour suddenly becomes bigger than the sum of its parts.
Julie Massé is the nose de Vetta has chosen to work with to help realise his vision. With a family history of perfume making in Grasse and a degree from the International Perfume School in Versailles, Massé represents a new generation of modern innovators, key to the evolution of this industry.
I knew that I wanted to create a company and a line of fragrances that was handcrafted. And so I made a few decisions as an entrepreneur and as a startup. And one decision was to say, well, the fragrance oils and the fragrance ingredients have to come from the best place on earth, and that is Grasse. And we take the time with our Grasse partners to mature those ingredients and those fragrance oils, and when they're ready, we then bring them over to London.
In a world oversaturated with new perfumes, Shay And Blue's mix of French traditions and English craftsmanship helps give the brand a distinct identity. And of course, their secret alchemy of ingredients.
The modern expression of that idea is really to layer cassis berries with grass jasmine and then with patchouli and bourbon vanilla and sandalwood. And the end result is a contemporary expression of a great floral oriental.
Le Labo was born out of the frustration of 2 executives in the perfume industry who were disillusioned to see so much of the investment being spent on marketing. Fabrice Penaud and Edouard Rochy opened the store in Manhattan's Nolita district 7 years ago to provide an alternative to mainstream fragrances.
I think people, for the first time in a long time, have been able to see the things they buy being made in front of them, which is pretty rare.
More than a perfume company, Le Labo is an interactive lab where customers can select one of 30 unisex perfumes that have been created by some of the best perfumers in the world with high-quality raw ingredients.
When you like one of our fragrances, there is no stock, there is no inventory. So the only bottles that are filled are the testers. You have to ask for the bottle size you want, and then we formulate to the order your perfume.
The perfume is then bottled especially for you.
Because the perfume is fragile, doesn't age well, so we make sure that we keep the essential oils in the fridge until the very last moment when you order the perfume.
After the fragrance is compounded, the bottle is filled, cramped, and the personalized label is placed on the bottle.
That's very, very artisanal. And that's part of the way and of the reason why I think Le Labo is so successful.
(1833) Patagonia is the point where 2 worlds collide. Headquartered in Argentina's capital, Buenos Aires, Fueguia is a boutique perfumery operating out of a sleek store in the Recoleta neighborhood. Founded in 2010 by Julian Bedal and Amalia Almeida, its products are sold around the world.
Everything is produced in Argentina. We source our ingredients from all over the world. We work with different communities to produce different flowers or barks or woods or roots, and also, of course, in Argentina.
The fragrances have global standing, but as the name suggests, the sights and smells of Argentina's vast southern wilderness, Patagonia, are the inspiration.
Fuegia, she was an Indian from the Patagonia that was kidnapped by Fitzroy. And incidentally, in that trip, Fitzroy brought a young Charles Darwin. So Fuegia is like a missing link between Occident and the southern part of Argentina.
Fuegria is a perfumery that shuns the mass-scale model, shaping each of its intricate products from a recipe conceived and blended in the company's micro-laboratory.
We have a collection that is related to the stories of Jorge Luis Borges, and what we try to do is to represent those stories with a scent. The music, all the silences, the intensity is also analogous in perfumery, so I can inspire by a tango and try to build that lyric and that intensity onto a perfume.
In keeping with its organic ethos, Fuegria keeps an eye on its carbon footprint, using recycled glass for perfume bottles and wood from fallen trees in Patagonia to make the boxes.
All our fragrances and stories are made and they were created without any influence of the perfumery world. They're very particular and with a lot of identity.
With several forthcoming store openings in Europe, Fuegria is proving that going against the grain is a business model that works and that small scale is beautiful.